Hello, welcome to this update for the U.S. and Canada. So let's see what's happening very quick. We won't take long today. Let's just see here what's happening. So first we have in the U.S. more systems in the northwest with some heavier snow in the mountains of Washington and some freezing rain possible in North Dakota, parts of Minnesota, and the UP of Michigan too, going all the way into southwestern Ontario. We also have still some snow in the northeast possible, even New York a little bit heavier, and also some freezing rain possible parts of Oregon and Washington and northwestern Montana. And then let's see, day 2 they have some freezing rain still possible, North Dakota, Minnesota, branching to Canada, and some heavy rain possible in Louisiana, some heavy snow possible in parts of northern Minnesota, and still some snow in the northeast possible, and some mixed precipitation all the way from Montana to Vermont. You also have still some more snow possible in Washington, parts of Idaho, and Oregon. And day 3 shows more snowfall probabilities for uh, for Tuesdays to today's Saturday, so day 3 is like Monday. So Monday to Tuesday shows more snow possible in North Dakota, Minnesota, much of southern Canada, and more like Colorado, New Mexico are already there, and more in Montana, some parts of Wyoming, and Idaho. So this just a recap, but let's see what some models show now for this. So there's the system near like the northwest, some more rain in Washington and British Columbia, with more snow there across the west. So Sunday tomorrow in Idaho, and northwestern Montana and Washington, the snow continues. Also more snow into like central southern Alberta and British Columbia, and more heavy rain on the coast there. Shows more snow there throughout New York and Vermont, still possible today to Sunday, especially in Ontario and Quebec, some heavier snow. Shows Sunday this goes into like northwestern Wyoming, some parts of Washington still, and Idaho, and the European still has more snow throughout most of the northeast, Vermont, not heavy, but some lighter snow there, and just southern Ontario, and more there. So this goes, passes like Sunday into Atlantic Canada, goes into Quebec. So southern Quebec on Sunday should get some heavier snow, and especially New Brunswick, Nova Scotia shows some more rain there. And this goes in the system across the west is there, the northwest now, but you kind of get a little bit better organized across central western Canada, and then produce more rain, more and some snow, especially snow throughout Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and Alberta there. This is Sunday, tomorrow. The European already shows snow there, even freezing rain or two in Minnesota. This is showing, and shows there still northwestern Wyoming, parts of Washington. This goes Sunday to Monday, shows more storms in the south on Monday, and more snow across the east, like Newfoundland and Labrador on Monday, and eastern Quebec. And it has like more snow throughout a big portion central to northern Canada, especially across the south in Ontario and parts of Manitoba. Some some still in Alberta and Saskatchewan, and shows more snow like the northern plains in North Dakota and Montana. This goes there. That rain from the southeast joins with that system in Canada and goes there, like shows more rain in the northeast and some snow on Tuesday across New England and throughout Tuesday until like Wednesday. Or even shows some a small area of freezing rain possible in Ontario, and not Ontario but like Quebec, some freezing rain and some snow, mainly snow there. Even shows us a freezing rain or two in Vermont and parts of Maine on Tuesday. This goes there. The European still shows more storms near the Gulf on like Wednesday, that powerful cold front. It does form like this big system, so heavy rain near the coast and more snow behind it on like Tuesday, the Thursday, the 12th, and Wednesday. So this goes, the Europeans are like a big front there, all the way from Quebec to the Bahamas, and it has like more snow, some heavier snow throughout Quebec on the 12th, more in the Great Lakes as well. Next Thursday, more across like parts of Ontario, and it has more snow starting across Oregon and California and Nevada on December 12th, especially in Washington and Oregon there, into Idaho, in Montana, some across British Columbia, and ahead of it shows some snow in Alberta, Saskatchewan, northern Montana, and this goes there. And yeah, it shows, and this model brings another big season to California on the 14th, some heavier rain in Central California, heavier snow on the coast, and more like in Nevada as well, and it brings like a big snowstorm across the west on December 15th there, and then it goes, and more stuff later. But that's like 1 week out, so that will change tons of times. But now the GFS, for comparison, let's see, has the snow across the west, especially in Oregon and British Columbia, more snow there. And then Sunday, more like Montana and Idaho, more snow into like Alberta, Saskatchewan. This goes on Sunday there. It shows more snow from the season northern Minnesota into southern Manitoba on Monday still. This Monday morning still this goes more snow like North Dakota and Montana. Later Monday it shows more snow into Ontario, especially central southern Ontario on like Monday. There should be some rain near the northeast on Monday. This goes there because it has those storms in like Texas Sunday, going Monday for like the mid south and all the way to the northeast. And it has like some more snow throughout Quebec and Ontario, some parts of the Great Lakes, mainly the northwest and Great Lakes on Monday, and more storms in the Gulf there and in the southeast throughout Tuesday. And it has like some more bigger cold fronts on Wednesday, like the Europeans, more snow in the Appalachians, parts of South and Eastern Canada, and the Northeast on Thursday, the 12th, has some bigger snow there and stuff. So yeah, heavier, not bigger. So be aware there. And across the West has those systems there. Does have more systems in Alaska and British Columbia, more snow. Wednesday, Thursday shows more across northern Washington, Idaho, more for British Columbia and Alberta, and southern Yukon, northwestern territories. Does have some in the northwest again on the 13th, mostly across Washington and Oregon, parts of Idaho. This goes, and it does have northern California on the 15th, and some storms in Texas, but it doesn't have that bigger system in California like the European had. So this has a lot of possibilities. It changes a lot. There's like here the icon shows a similar thing. Today Saturday, the snow across central eastern Canada and the northeast throughout Sunday, Monday. The snow across the northwest and southwestern Canada, and this moves there. The storms the mid south Sunday to Monday, especially on Monday. Then this goes shows more mixed precipitation across Colorado, New Mexico throughout Monday, Wyoming, even the northern plains, and more snow for central Canada on Tuesday, the 10th. This goes there, brings that cold front on Wednesday, some heavy rain on the east coast. Monitor that for a flood threat, and does show like more heavier snow and rain on December 12th across the northeast and Atlantic Canada. And does bring some other seasons on the west as well. So this is Wednesday the 11th, more snow in British Columbia and southern Alaska, and into Washington, summer rain and snow on Thursday. The snow goes all the way to North Dakota later on Thursday, and shows more there, like even the Midwest, some mixed precipitation on December 13th, and more across the west later. And December 14th, next Saturday, there's show more across like central Canada and across the west there. So yeah, be aware those areas. Here, let's just see some snowfall maps from them. First, like what's happening here. Go. So here, it does have like, let's see the ice first, if there's any freezing rain on their forecast. So this the next 24 hours freezing rain accumulation, they actually have some accumulation here, because most times they just show some probabilities there and hardly any freezing rain falls. But now they actually have more accumulation there, northern Washington, northern Idaho, and parts of North Dakota, even the UP of Michigan. And this would also include Canada, those areas, so be aware there too. I'll show you another map later. But the show, this is like some spots in northern Washington, almost to 0.25 uh, inches or something, but a little bit less than that. Some spots 0.25, but most spots is 0.20, so just be aware. Some freezing rain there. And snow in the next 48 hours shows that snow in the northeast from those systems. Expect some more there, some 3 to 6 inches in some areas. Not 6, but like those darker blues. But across New York, expect still some 10 inches or even 11 inches, and more in the UP of Michigan, northern Michigan, and especially in the high elevations of the Cascades, close to like some 20 inches or even more, 28 or even 30. Shows more across Idaho, Montana, so be aware there. And yeah, the wind gusts a big factor too. Northern Montana is pretty windy, and southeastern Wyoming. So those browns there are almost to like some 75 mile per hour gusts or even higher. So be careful. They do have the forecast here because some models might differ, but their forecast almost like says 75 mile per hour gusts. Northern Montana, central Montana, some 50 to 70 mile per hour gusts, and more across southeastern Wyoming, and like central, those mountains of Wyoming there. Be careful, New Mexico and Texas, a little bit breezier, and parts of the Great Lakes and Northeast in the next 24 hours. They do have here the warnings, some high wind warnings in Montana, some watches in New Mexico, and high wind warnings and watches in Wyoming, and some winter weather advisories near Minnesota, northern Michigan, winter storm warnings in northwestern New York, and some winter weather advisories, so be careful to snow there. Do show like some freezing fog advisories, Northern California and Nevada, some fog advisories, Central California in the morning, Northern Utah, so be aware. More across Northern Oregon, freezing fog advisories, and winter storm warnings, Northern Washington and Northwestern Montana, some winter weather advisories there too, so be careful. And this changes a lot, so please check the site in the description to see the updates. Across Canada, have a bunch of watches and warnings. Alberta, freezing rain warnings in the south, and more winter storm warnings, freezing rain warnings. All those locations of Alberta, there, winter storm, freezing rain, winter storm, freezing rain. So just click here on like winter storm to see the details. Hazardous winter weather conditions expected, and also hazardous travel conditions. Freezing rain here, you can see band of freezing rain has developed northwestern Alberta, and is expected to move eastwards today. Freezing rain may continue until this evening, so yeah, be careful. British Columbia, some rainfall warnings and winter storm warnings, those locations there. Even some freezing rain, so be careful. Manitoba, freezing rain warnings, all of those locations. As of now, when you watch this, it might be different, but as of now, shows those freezing rain warnings there. Newfoundland and Labrador, snow squall watches, and all those yellow areas there. Snow squalls are expected to develop. Under snow squall bands, visibility may significantly be reduced due to heavy snow, and snow will quickly accumulate, so be careful. This is Newfoundland and Labrador, some more snow squall warnings and watches there. Nova Scotia, snow squall watches in 2 locations there. Be careful and check here this site for more details. Blizzard warnings, Clyde River, Nunavut as of now. Ontario, some freezing rain warnings, some areas, winter weather advisories. So winter weather travel advisory in effect today, and all those locations in Ontario there. So be careful in Quebec. I do have some snowfall warnings and snow squall watches as well, and a weather advisory. So be careful. The snowfall warnings in Quebec and Saskatchewan, some winter storm warnings, not on all those locations there, so be careful and check this in the description there. In terms of storms, nothing severe, but you never know. It shows some storms in Texas in the south today, Saturday a finger two in Washington, shows more storms Sunday across the south. Those ones might be a little bit stronger. Thunderstorms still possible Texas to lower Mississippi Valley mid-south on Sunday. Probability for severe thunderstorms remains low. And Monday still some stronger storms there. So yeah, be aware. And later, still nothing. But fire weather, no critical. But day 5, we have a critical area for near Santa Barbara, Los Angeles. So better monitor some dry wind, dry and gusty conditions on day 5. So yeah, be careful there. And the snowfall accumulations, so some different models. I showed you next 24 hours, but next 5 days does show more snow throughout most of central and eastern Canada, the northeastern US, that's snow there all the way down to the Appalachians, and Minnesota, and the northern US, and like southern Canada. Some lighter snow central western Canada, like Manitoba and Alberta and Saskatchewan, but heavier across the west in British Columbia and the northwestern US around Washington. So be aware in those mountains. And yeah, shows a finger to Northern California. This is the icon, and shows more like southern Alaska is very crazy. There's definitely more than 100 inches into the next 5 days. So more across western Alaska next 5 days, even to central Alaska, more for the northwestern territories and Yukon. So be aware that the European model has a similar situation, more across central Canada, in eastern Canada, all, all the way to the Atlantic, has some in New Mexico and Colorado, more there in the northeast, especially New York, and more there throughout Minnesota, southern Canada, and the northwest, and like British Columbia, especially those mountains along the coast, but a lot in some parts of Alberta and eastern British Columbia too. So be careful. The GFS does have some more in those areas as well. Also in Colorado in the next 5 days, and especially this Tuesday, Thursday, yeah, and more across those areas, especially eastern Canada has a spot close to 55 centimeters or even more there. So be careful with those winter weather systems. And here, let's just see one thing for the freezing rain, if I can find it. So there's like the European model. So does have here like regions, North America, where put everything, and precipitation, freezing rains 72 hours. So next 72 hours, the European model does have that freezing rain like Washington, southern British Columbia, some more there, especially northern Washington, has some spots in Alberta, even southwestern Ontario and to Minnesota, very light, barely nothing, but does show a little bit. And it shows in Alaska too. Next 3 days, some freezing rain, central to western Alaska there. So be aware across those areas. And the GFS, let's see if it has this as well. Barely has any in Alaska, but it does have more in southern Saskatchewan to North Dakota. Minnesota does have northern Washington as well, maybe southern Ontario. So yeah, be careful in those areas. And here, let's see. Here's we can see as well the system in central Canada with the snow in the northeastern US and Atlantic Canada. It goes there. The next system across British Columbia and Washington now. You go bring more snow to southern Canada and parts of the northeast later as well. And the Pacific systems in Alaska with the heavier snow, British Columbia and Alaska, and eventually more systems like the storms in the mid-south, and they go upwards on Wednesday and Thursday, more snow in eastern Canada in the US there. So yeah, be careful in those areas. There's like the 2 meter temperature as well. It's very cold, especially in Canada. And as you can see the GFS, that's very cold air mass going all the way down to the northern US, and more cold temperatures in the Rockies, but very cold throughout Canada there. So be careful in those areas. Here, let's just try to go a little bit faster through these temperatures. So it does show like already today in the afternoon, this is already now, some colder temperatures in the northeast and parts of the Rockies, warmer in the south. Tonight to tomorrow does show some colder temperatures still in the northeast, not that like some 1 Fahrenheit, those dark purple, so be careful in Maine. Some 30 is all the way to northern Florida, and that blue is like 33 Fahrenheit or something like that. So be careful there. The wind chills show some 31, low 30 is in North and South Carolina, and across the Appalachians, the Midwest, some very cold temperatures. The Rockies, especially in Colorado, some areas even some negative degrees, like those higher elevations there in dark purple, and some 20s and 30s and teens across western Wyoming and Idaho and parts of Montana, those areas. So be careful. The maximum temperature Sunday, some 70s, the south still, the north still some colder temperatures, and the Rockies as well. Monday, still some colder temperatures in the morning, especially northern New England, but also all the way down to northern Virginia. It shows very cold temperatures, the Rockies, some teens, and some single digits in the very high elevations. In the north, there in the plains, some 20s and teens as well, so be careful. Monday afternoon, some 80s in southern Texas, but some 70s in Florida, not areas. Still very cold in the afternoon, even the Rockies and the northeast and the northern plains. Shows like the night of Tuesday morning, Monday night to Tuesday morning, shows some 30s all the way to Texas, and those areas of the Rockies there might be all the way to like one -1 Fahrenheit or something. So be careful Tuesday morning across Nevada, 4 Fahrenheit, 6 and even less in Wyoming, Utah, most of Arizona, most of New Mexico, northern Arizona mainly, and those parts of eastern California, northern California, some high elevations in the south as well. So be aware, still some 70s in southern Florida and the northern plains, cold as well. Tuesday afternoon, still some 80s in Florida, 70s, but still cold across the Rockies and the northern plains, the Midwest. Be aware that the next night, Wednesday morning, shows all the way to -5 Fahrenheit in North Dakota and Minnesota, some 30s all the way down to Louisiana, some 20s teens in the Midwest and parts of the plains, and very cold in New Mexico and Colorado still, and parts of Wyoming, and practically all of those high elevations there. So be careful. Shows Wednesday, December 11th, still pretty cold across the north in the afternoon, and still in the Rockies cold. And Thursday morning does show still some like -8 in the north there, some 30s all the way to Florida, Texas, mainly 30s, and still some -8 there, some 20s and teens, the Midwest, the Northeast, and cold all the way to southern Arizona. So yeah, be careful those colder temperatures. Day 6, next Thursday afternoon, still shows some 20s and 30s in the north there, especially Minnesota, and the high elevation still cold. And Friday morning, the 13th, let's see, doesn't show yet, and that's 1 week out, so we have time. And in Canada, it's very cold, as I showed you, some -33 degrees, -9, -18, and Alaska too. So this is Saturday into Sunday, this comes, and does have those very cold temperatures in Quebec, all the way to -26, -11 the south, so be careful, Ontario, Quebec, especially Labrador, those very cold temperatures, northern Yukon, those areas. This goes and it brings this very cold mass of air down, like some -32, -31, cold most of British Columbia except Vancouver in the far south. Shows Yukon a little bit better than recent weeks, but still cold. Ontario except the far south, very cold, so be aware. Thursday, Tuesday, Wednesday, this cold air mass comes all the way down to the U.S. Shows a -30 Western Ontario, -20, some -29. Ontario and Quebec still very cold. So yeah, be careful. Now the European model shows a similar thing. Some -15 Yukon, -12. That air mass coming cold. That air mass of cold air coming all the way down to southern Saskatchewan. This next Wednesday shows some -30 in Manitoba. Ontario in Quebec cold as well, so be careful. And does show like Thursday morning -32 degrees all the way to southern Manitoba, most of Nunavut very cold, northwestern territory, so yeah, be careful, Ontario and those areas there. And later does show all the way to -4 degrees Celsius in Yukon on December 15th, so that's extremely cold, and the wind chills with that might be all the way to -55 or something. So please be careful, and especially this week with this massive cold air coming down, -28, the wind chills might be close to -30 or even more, so please be careful with hypothermia, the wind chills and frostbite and everything. So please stay safe. The wind gusts with the systems are strong in southern Alaska now, but that's Wednesday here. So now they are still strong near Atlantic Canada, some areas, but there are those very high winds in Montana, close to 70-mile-per-hour gusts, and those areas of Wyoming there. So here, let's see the European. First here, the U.S. So it does show those high winds near New York and West Virginia, in those areas still. So be careful there. Sunday into Monday shows those high winds in Montana, North Dakota. This goes Monday into Tuesday there. And it shows also some high winds in Mexico. We might make some videos there. But since this is North America, better talk about it here as well. So that's almost 100 km/h gusts in Baja California for Wednesday. So be careful. Wednesday to Thursday, higher gusts with that cold front. So that front on Thursday might bring some very decent rainfall and high winds, 50-mile-per-hour gusts, 47 in the Appalachians as well. So be careful. This goes into Atlantic Canada, might get crazy, including northern Maine, right? The northeastern Maine, some 65 and 69 mile-per-hour gusts. So be careful in those areas. On Thursday, then it goes away. More to watch later, especially in the Rockies and some areas there on the 13th. And now for Canada, there are those high winds, southern Alberta now, more than 105 km/h gusts. So be careful. This goes Sunday, shows higher southern Saskatchewan, and eventually into Ontario, a little bit breezier. Shows those Atlantic systems, some AA choose like 70 km/h gusts. Tuesday, this goes there, and does show Wednesday and Thursday with that system. So southern New Brunswick all the way to 96 km/h gusts. This goes, but that's just the start of it. Later, so like 108 or even more in New Brunswick on Thursday, the 12th. Nova Scotia more than 100 in some areas too. So really be careful. Newfoundland and Labrador, and like into eastern Quebec as well. So be careful in the Great Lakes. This are the 12. This goes there. Still very strong northern Quebec and Labrador on the 14th, and some stuff across the west, but nothing that crazy. And this goes there. So be careful. And now there's those Pacific systems, southern Alaska, and even British Columbia, but mainly southern Alaska. Be careful with those wind gusts. Show some areas all the way next Tuesday to 55 mile-per-hour gusts, some areas there. Monday, the Europeans all the way to like 100, no, like 69 mile-per-hour gusts. Some mountains of southern Alaska, 71. In some spots, I don't think that anyone lives there, but some 82 mile-per-hour gusts, some 55. So be careful in Alaska there. This goes, and like this next Monday, Tuesday, and more strong winds southern Alaska Wednesday. So stay safe there. And like snow, so like show some lingering snow there now. Heavier snow Monday, Sunday through Monday, southern Alaska. This goes there into Canada, and more later, especially later next week. So stay safe with this cold and these systems, and yeah, bye.